Listen, let's stop arguing over whether 35mm is boring, okay? Let's put this whole thing to bed once and for all. It's boring. 35mm is boring, just accept it. It's also my absolute favorite focal length. So in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about how being boring is the 35mm's superpower and how to make the 35mm focal length a little less, again, boring. Every single camera manufacturer out there makes a 35mm lens or 10. They're cheap, they're small, they're widely available, and they're often taken for granted. Fixed lens cameras, point and shoot cameras like my Fujifilm X100VI here often use the 35mm focal length because it's just an inoffensive middle ground. You also hear it thrown around all the time that 35mm is kind of like the focal length of the human eye. Yeah, 35mm, it just shows you the world how it is. It's a focal length that makes you confront whether you have anything to say, whether you can see a scene out in the real world and walk away with an interesting image, an interesting composition with no help, no input whatsoever from your lens. Because it asks you to apply yourself more thoughtfully to the composition process, and because it takes a little more effort and creativity to make your images with 35mm stand apart from what somebody's Aunt Shirley is going to get with their iPhone, you can really learn a lot from a camera like this, a lens like this. Alright, maybe you're looking for the practical advice section of this video, but I would argue that we need to talk about changing how we think about 35mm before we just dive into tips and tricks about how to make your images with it less boring. And that's because, like I've been saying, I think that being boring is the 35mm superpower. Here's the thing, you can add sauce and seasoning and do all kinds of little things to make your images with it more interesting to look at, but the fact of the matter is that it remains a great, just standard, flat postcard focal length, and it can do that side of things as well. Images shot with a 35mm lens wind up being super versatile in post because you can crop into 50mm a lot of the time, maybe even further depending on the resolution of your sensor without losing a ton of detail. But if you're shooting with a longer lens, you can't uncrop it, you know? Kind of like if you go and get a haircut, you can't start with a buzz cut and then glue the hair back on if you're not happy with how it looks. Jokes aside, it really is my favorite thing about 35mm. 35mm, 40mm in my mind is kind of the starting point for photography. It's almost like the default. And I'm always collecting these postcard snaps, and I love that this lens can do that, and it can also do so much more on top of that. And you know, these simple scenes that I walk away with, I don't expect anybody to find them ultra interesting, except for maybe my absolute favorites or things that I take in places where most people don't get to go. But I love that I can start there and just kind of build from this foundation. Okay, enough talk, enough waxing poetic about 35mm. Let's get into some concrete tips about how you can make your images with 35mm lenses a little more interesting to look at. And what I would argue at the end of the day, coming at this from the perspective of a street and travel photographer, is that it really just comes back to the basics. One of the most fun things to do as a street photographer, and one way that you can kind of deal with having too much space, is to shoot through things, not around things. Look for texture, windows, glass, you know, objects, lampposts on the side of the road, and use them to put something between you and your subject. And this of course goes for really any focal length, but it adds depth. Very simply, it gives your viewer a benchmark. It gives them something to compare to when you're looking at a subject versus what's in front of the lens. Now the next thing that comes to mind as far as getting the most out of a 35mm lens is just that it is so versatile. It's so easy to kind of wrap your head around and forgiving in terms of, you know, what it can fit in the frame. It's the perfect focal length to really put the time in and learn like the back of your hand so you can actually shoot without looking. If you're able to take your 35mm lens and sort of guesstimate, you know, with some degree of accuracy what's going to be in frame and what's not without looking at the screen or the viewfinder, that opens you up to all kinds of different things. You can shoot up, you can shoot to the side as you're walking by somebody, you can shoot from the hip. It's a particularly effective tip for street photographers who are nervous about taking photos. I do always encourage people to work on their confidence. I think that the best street photographs happen when you're not afraid of your subjects. But there is a time and a place for shooting from the hip, shooting blind. And let's face it, if you get some weird composition where things aren't lined up right, you can just make the image black and white and call it abstract. This next tip is going to once again kind of expose me as a street photographer, but to get closer to your subject. It doesn't have to be just scenes, you know, wide scenes where your subject is this really tiny feature in the middle. It's no macro lens, it's no 85, it's never gonna be like a super detail-oriented focal length, but you can still just get physically closer to people, to things, and you'd be surprised, I think, especially if you're more on the beginner end of things as a photographer, how much fun you can have just changing your distance, changing how close you are to something that you thought you needed to photograph really far away. You know, sometimes details reveal themselves that wind up being far more interesting than just the larger scene. The last tip I have is to shoot sequences. Instead of only looking for images that stand on their own, think like a location scout or a documentarian. Shoot as though you're trying to show somebody what a place is like in a series of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 images. Start with an establishing shot, you know, show people where we are. And then move into subject-led photos. Show your audience what the people are like, what they're up to, what they're wearing, what they're doing. And then bring it all together with the detail shots. Find food, find plants, you know, details in the architecture that you can get close to. Find those details that people just walk past or they don't think too much about. And I think what you'll find is that when you take the images and you put them all together into a sequence, you'll tell a more complete story than one single image ever could. Social media and the way that we share images today has completely skewed our perspective of how art, how photography should be displayed and consumed. Let's face it, you're gonna take like 3 mind-blowing Instagram bangers a year if you're shooting every single week. Photos and lots of other kinds of art were meant to be displayed and consumed and appreciated in collections and series. A lot of the time, art sort of builds on itself. A lot of the time, an image is 1,000 times more powerful when it has more context. When's the last time that you went to a gallery or a museum or an exhibit or something and saw just 1 or 2 photos on a wall? The best photography exhibit that I can recall seeing was what the MoMA put together for what would have been Robert Frank's 100th birthday. I spent hours and hours flipping through just snapshots from his life, things that he had taken that showed where he lived and people he knew, friends that he spent time with. There's no way that picking up a random image of Robert Frank's from that collection and viewing it on its own would leave me with this sense of knowing the photographer, understanding what he was looking for and how he saw the world, like the entire collection as a whole could have. And like I've been touching on throughout this video, you know, it's really about the basics with 35mm, but when people say that it's boring, that it's flat, that it's the focal length of the human eye, I would argue that its biggest strength is actually those things. 35mm is the absolute best tool to build a collection of work with because it is so versatile. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any of your own tips for how to make the most of 35mm, or if you think that I'm completely out of my mind and you can't stand this focal length, feel free to tell me that too. And this is YouTube, so you know I'm going to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe because it really does help, you know, convinces the robots to show this video to 1 or 2 more people and makes it a little easier for me to carve out time to create content like this. So thanks, as always, for watching. I appreciate your support, and I will talk to you very, very soon in the next video.